So welcome back to my channel, Bob's Garage. I did in one of my older videos, probably one that nobody ever watches, I changed the oil, and coincidentally when I went to reset the service indicator light, the check engine light came on. And I presumed it was something associated with having to take it into Mercedes, because there's actually 3 service codes that were come up. I plugged in my code reader, which is for Mercedes-Benz, iCareSoft MB2 for Mercedes-Benz, and it said it was a proprietary code. I couldn't find anything. So drove it for a little bit. Then I wound up doing a little bit more research. I wound up buying an upgraded code reader, iCareSoft CR Pro Plus, which can read a whole bunch of different cars. I got 3 different code readers, so I wanted to get one simple one. So I'm going to find out a little bit more information about that code reader. I saw this about the code reader and about the code. I saw this being used in another video in the car, and there's way more diagnostic capabilities. The provision of actually graphing and trending outputs, which my old one didn't. So I'm looking forward to find out what we see with that. That's all I know. The check engine, the code was unsupported for the software, so it could be anything, and that's all I know. So this is the code reader. Let's see if we can get it without some glare here. Got an iCareSoft CR Pro. Does all kinds of different cars, diagnostics as well. I think up to 2022. So I'm not a sponsor. I just want to know with a few subscribers as I have, and I appreciate y'all. I'm not going to get sponsored, but anyway. So to do diagnostics, actually, you can just go straight into the code reader, and this is powered from the car, as most are. It's not touchscreen. I always forget that. Select the car. It'll link. I think we may have to at least turn the ignition on. You can see 7 codes there. Mill is on. And read the codes here. F2. Read codes. And like I said, I may have to turn it on. So it is stored exhaust temperature sensor bank low. Like I said, my other code reader wouldn't even do this. 10 codes, and circuit out of range, 3 out of range, exhaust temperature low, out of range, excessive time to enter closed loop, permanent. And then, so I think that's because it's been on such a long time. So that's one thing. So now we know it's bank 1 sensor 1. But here's the cool part. So live data. So I'm going to start, first I'll go into this, enter, and then I'm going to go into all. You know, the reason, and there's a lot, but I'm just going to, instead of typing in the specific ones, I'm just going to actually go straight to the temperature sensors, the exhaust. So for this, it's got quite a bit of sensors. It's a diesel, 4 different temperature sensors along the line. There is pressure sensors for the particulate filter. It's a 2013 Mercedes ML350 with the diesel engine. And there's also status of the particulate filter as well. So here we got intake, still scrolling down, boost pressure, and then we're into the sensors. You can see just by looking at this, looks like up there, 2 is 30.7, 3 is 29, minus 40. So minus 40 degrees Celsius for that sensor. Now if I start the engine up, you'll watch the temperatures come up pretty quick. There they go. So you can start to see the temperatures coming up. But of course, this stays low. Now, if we let the car warm up, you're going to see that get even higher. But that's basically it. So, oh, where's diesel particulate filter pressure? Here. Gotta check something else there some other time. Anyways, that's basically it. So I'm up to 120 degrees Celsius in sensor 1, but still minus 40. So I'm underneath the car, and you don't actually have to take off any shields. And the number 4 sensor, so first of all, there's probably an O2 sensor or an NOx sensor there. This is the temperature sensor, and it couldn't be any easier. So I've already taken a look at it, and I don't see any bad wiring. So the first thing I'm going to try to do, and this is unfortunately a tight area, it's because I don't have a lift. I am going to disconnect the electrical connector right up there, which has got a little gray locking pin, and you push up and then you can disconnect it. I'm going to connect up the new sensor and see if that signal changes. Oh, by the way, when I did this before, I could see that even with the car at full temperature, it stayed at minus 40, which I would presume would be an open loop, a closed loop by the extreme end. So I'm going to disconnect that sensor up there, or the connector, is the electrical connector, just a 2-wire, like an RTD type thing, and hook up the new one. By the way, I got a cheap Amazon replacement that says it would work in this location, and so I'm going to see if that makes a difference, and we'll, at least at a minimum for the $29, I've done a little bit of diagnostics. The sensor plugged in to the connector. Keep forgetting this isn't touchscreen. Vehicle's not running. Again, pretty easy to do once you pull that little gray locking pin out. It is not much after that. Let's go to the live data. It's just dangling underneath there for now. And again, I'm only confirming I'm getting a signal before I tear everything apart. But it looks really easy. I'll show you the routing. If you saw, it was just 2 clips and a bit of a ring clamp that it goes on. So I think I'll take the whole clamp out and transfer the whole assembly with the little clamps, because this one doesn't, also the replacement cheap one doesn't have a shield on it. So I'll see if I can transfer that. I likely can't, but I'll try anyways. So we're looking for bank 1 sensor, temperature sensor 4. And there we go, 33.1 degrees. So it's hot out. You can see sensor 2, sensor 3 are warmed up because I had the motor running for a few seconds to get up in the ramp. And now we got a signal, 33 degrees, ambient temperatures around 30 Celsius. So that's great news. So next thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to take out the old sensor. So I'm going to soak it with some penetrating fluid, because obviously hot cycle stainless steel components, they're going to tend to go. And I'm going to take out the little hardware that holds the electrical piece onto the I think that's the catalytic converter at that point. So transfer all that to the new cable. But so far, good news. Now we have live data. Okay, I've got the sensor out. So saw one of my other videos, or maybe seen one of my other videos. When you take in the exhaust components of modern cars, stainless steel exhaust, stainless steel fittings, obviously because of the heat, but stainless steel gulls on itself, especially when it goes through heat cycles. So plenty of lubricant, PB blaster, and go slow. Wiggle back and forth and keep wiggling and slowly work its way through. You don't want to just pull full force on it. You'll gull the threads and you'll lock up.
So I've got it out. It's not quite the same. It's very close, but not quite the same. It's a different type of sensor. We've already plugged in and it works. The connector ends are the same. So that's some changes. And the connector ends, sorry, I didn't have the camera on there. The connector ends are the same, different color, but the same methodology. I decided to go a little bit different than what I said. These clips that hold in place, these rusty clips, they just easily pop off, just get underneath. You can see there's a couple little tangs here and there that hold it onto the bracket. So you just got to lift and slide it off incredibly easy. So even though it doesn't look exactly the same, I'm putting the new one back in because I got a signal. May not last long, but it's better than nothing. I won't have this armor cable in here. And I do have some, I just don't know if I've got stuff that would be good enough for the temperature. I may just grab some of my own electrical conduit, put over there. And I'm going to put an anti-seize compound on the threads. I'm going to clean up the threads on them, on the catalytic converter, and I'm going to put an anti-seize compound on the threading, put it back together, and I'll bring you back. I'm not sure if I'll show you that. It's pretty straightforward. I can, but it'll take all of 30 seconds to thread in the bolt for the probe, put on 2 clips, put in the connector. Literally, it's going to take like 5 minutes. So I'll maybe just show a picture of it afterwards, and you can see what I've done. And again, put in the comments if you want more detail. Let me know. But some of these more basic things I don't get into. But if you want to see more detail, let me know. So I'm going to give you a bit of an update on the Mercedes. The temperature probe's working fine, no issues. And again, I'm not sure if I mentioned it earlier, I've got about 4 videos on the go now and I'm losing track. But that probe was about 20 bucks. I have no idea what the Mercedes would be. But I want to see how long it's going to last. So an Amazon purchase, bit of a gamble, but for 20 bucks I thought I'd give it a shot. So it's been running fine. The temperatures are exactly where they need to be, but I couldn't clear the code. I think I said earlier, well, I need a bit of runtime for it to not be impermanent. Well, what it turned out to be, now that is still true, but what it turned out to be is, there was no other code shown in the engine computer. So I figured, well, I was at it. This is just plain coincidence. I'll check all the other body computers. There's lots of computers in this car. Well, it turns out that there's a fault in the diesel emissions fluid system. So when I looked at it closer, it was the heater. I presumed at first it was the DEF tank heater, but there's actually a separate heater, and that's for heating the line that goes into the injector. So that code showed that line, the heater on that line, the pressurizing hose, if you like, is clogged. So, or I should say, pardon me, it is open circuited, meaning that it's shorted out. Well, check the wiring, but I suspect it's an electrical resistance. I suspect it's truly shorted. So I got one on order. And again, I bought it not for Mercedes, so I'll find out how it works. But I got one on order, and it's delivered now, around $200. So I'll check what the price is for the Mercedes-Benz part and see how it compares. And I'll put in the part number where I got and how long it lasts. So I think I'll end it for this video with that. I think the next video I'll do that heater line replacement, and so you can get a bit of idea, because I couldn't find any other information on that line YouTube. I just saw a simple schematic for it, and that's it, but it looks really straightforward. So we'll find out about that next video. Anyways, thanks for watching.